Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. I hope you're doing well. I hope I don't have the music too loud. I don't think so. Thank you so thank you so much for the recap, Jerry. I was thinking about how I should recap exactly what happened last time because I feel like a lot happened, even though the chapter was especially short. But I'm just going to read out what Jerry said. Last time on Beast of Glenkildove, our hero forced an alcoholic to relapse, snitched on an addict to a crime family, failed to threaten an old man, and most importantly, got really jelly over not being one to carry our werewolf boyfriend's baby. All those things are true and more. How we ended the last part, or chapter 6, is Liam having an epiphany and going, I know exactly where Cormac is, and I imagine he's going to say the Cave of Glenkildove, or whatever the cave is called. So yeah, I imagine we spent all that time in Dublin for almost nothing. Except, I guess we found out that there's a vampire hanging around there and other weird stuff. But yeah, so let's jump right into it because I'm excited. I'm super into, I say that with every choice of games, but I think they're all awesome and I love them so much. And I always get so into them and I just want, and it's hard streaming it. I just want to play it, and not have to read it out loud and ruin my voice to myself. But I don't. I do it for you guys. It's been a long time. No, it hasn't been a long time. Not the CEO of Paradox, my goodness. This just came out, Beast of Glenkildove. Hunter the Reckoning, Beast of Glenkildove just came out. It came out a few, maybe 2 months ago, or a month and a half ago. So, go on and get it. Alright, Chapter 7, The Children of Lear. Land of Song, cried the warrior bard. Though all the world betrays thee, one sword at least thy rights shall guard, one faithful harp shall praise thee. Thomas More. Like Thomas More, like the guy who Henry VIII had beheaded? That guy? Or is that a different Thomas More? The Wicklow sky is pale gray. The clouds have that faint luminous quality to them that they often seem to have on the very coldest days of the year. You look out from your window at the Wolf's Head out west towards Glenkildove. You came down from Dublin yesterday evening, arriving so tired that for once you simply fell into a dreamless sleep. Claudia and Daniel had already left by the time you awoke. Maire told you they said something about going to Rosslare, a port to the south. Kitty has gone to see her mother. Everyone has agreed to meet back at the Wolf's Head this evening. Oh, that's right. And Niamh is, who, like our aunt adopted, is Cormac's daughter. And that's the baby we're jelly about. The mountains are already crowned with white. The sunlight glitters on the waterfalls descending their slopes, rushing down in frothing torrents fed by winter rainfall. There are secret glens and hidden places up there, abandoned mine shafts, and the ruins of castles and farmhouses. Few knew these hills as well as Cormac did. As a teenager, he would restlessly walk from one end of the mountains to the other, spending weeks out there. There are hundreds of places that he could be hiding, but he is not in any of them. You know that. He is much closer at hand, and tonight you will find him. You think over everything that has happened since you got Cormac's call a week and a lifetime ago. When all of this began, you wanted answers. Now you found them. Meh. Over the past few crowded days, you've learned dark truths about Glenkildove, about Cormac, and others like him. How do you feel about your findings? Oh my god. The secrets I've learned have only whetted my appetite. I love that word, so I have to pick this one. I wanted to keep exploring the mysteries of the supernatural, no matter how horrific the things I uncover are. I want to know everything, which plays perfectly into my curiosity drive, so. Boom. You go downstairs. Niamh is sprawled out on the floor of the sitting room, working on a coloring book. She is frowning in concentration, the tip of her tongue emerging from the corner of her mouth. Cousin Liam, she says. I should be Daddy Liam. Running up to give you a hug. Do you like my unicorn? She indicates the animal she has been coloring in rainbow colors. It appears to be just a horse, but she has drawn a horn on his head. My god, she's gonna be a child of Gaia? No, I'm kidding. Yes, it's nice. You have recently learned that who Niamh's biological parents were. Her father is Cormac. You wondered then if Niamh had inherited her father's true nature. You think of it now. She's going to be a child of Gaia. I know it. Their patron saint is Unicorn. But you keep all such thoughts from your face. Is that Liam? Maire's voice calls from outside. Come out into the yard. Mammy's smoking, Niamh tells you, her brown eyes wide. Tell her she shouldn't. It's really bad for you. It is really bad for you. Don't do it. I say as someone who smokes. Maire is sitting smoking on the bench outside. Bran and Survivor are playing at her feet. Yes, I know, Maire says. My daughter's a narc. When I started smoking again, I tried to conceal it from her, but I swear she has X-ray eyes. Your aunt looks tired, judging by her red-rimmed eyes. She has been crying. She looks up and seems to see in your eyes that you know the truth about Niamh. You knew. All along you knew. Why didn't you tell me? You knew I wanted to have Cormac's baby. Maire gestures for you to take a seat. She scratches Bran behind the ears. I like these dogs, she says. Maire takes a drag of her cigarette. Still, I miss Misty sometimes. Do you remember her? The border collie I used to have? Not an ounce of sense in her head, that dog. Thought everyone and everything was her friend. She points to the woods across the parking lot. I found her one morning last year, strung up from a branch. They must have called her over from across the yard. She'd come running, of course. Then they shot her in the back of the head, hung her up where I'd seen her. I am coldly furious. Whoever did that, they're going to pay. Maire shrugs, looking weary. Maybe, maybe not. Your aunt's eyes are distant. Cormac came to me 4 years ago with his baby daughter, a little girl called Niamh he couldn't care for. He asked me to look after her. Why didn't you tell me you'd seen Cormac? You must have known I was looking for him. I'd seen him 4 years ago. I didn't know where he'd gone since then, or if he was even still alive. Maire takes a last drag on her cigarette and throws it away. I never wanted children, never really saw the appeal. The original idea was that I'd only look after Niamh for a while until I could find somewhere better for her, but time passed and... She looks at you. I love her, she whispers. I never ever want to be without her. But Orla O'Donnell, Cormac's grandma, she always did want children, daughters specifically, but she got 5 sons instead. And they only had boys, and she was never done telling them what a disappointment they were. Now Niamh shows up and Orla notices how much she looks like an O'Donnell. It doesn't take her very long to figure it out. She doesn't care about Cormac. He was just another disappointment to her. Alive or dead, it makes no difference to her. It's Niamh she wants. She wants the daughter she was cheated out of. That's why she had her boys kill Misty. They're trying to scare me into giving Niamh up. But I won't let Orla take her, no matter what. Again I ask, why didn't you tell me? I would never let anything happen to you or Niamh. Maire smiles at you, looking genuinely touched. You're a good boy. You really are, she says. Orla is a very powerful woman here in Ballyavon. The guards are in her pockets. Garda Sergeant Heaney calls all the shots around here, and he's been taking O'Donnell money for years. When she realized she couldn't scare me after Misty, she's been using the law. She's hired a Dublin law firm, one of the best, and they're trying to take Niamh from me. I don't have the money to fight the case much longer. They're going to take my little girl away from me. She looks away. You realize that she is close to tears. What I wanted to ask you is this. If Orla succeeds or if something happens to me, will you take Niamh with you to London? Yes. It'll be harder for Orla to get at Niamh there, where she doesn't have the kind of power she does here. Would you? I don't ask it. I don't ask it lightly. Yes. But, oh yeah, you know what? Okay. Yes, I want to. However, I've just read this, like, you know, I am a hunter, though, so that could make things really messy and bad, and I could die, and then she'll have no one. That could make that really bad. All right, I'm going to compromise here. I can't do that, Maire. I have my own responsibilities in London, but I will find a way to make sure you can keep Niamh. I have to make a compromise, because... Seriously, because, like, being a hunter is super dangerous, and I don't have a kid right now, and if I did, and then I died, then that would be really bad for the little girl. So, I'll make a compromise. Oh, I feel bad. I would take her, though, obviously. Maire nods resignedly. I can't impose this on you. It's your life. I just didn't know who else to ask. Well, it's not that. It's not that, you know, I would under normal circumstances. Things were normal, but my life is not normal. As you are considering the situation, your phone rings. It is Claudia. Liam, she says. Daniel and I are in Roselair Harbor. You've got to come as soon as possible. It's about the situation with the Japanese tourist. In Dublin, I can't say any more over the phone. She's obviously talking about Noriko. If you go to Roselair to meet Daniel and Claudia today, you will not be able to help Maire against Orla, but whatever Claudia is doing in Roselair might be vital to the hunt. You need to make a decision. Great. Great. Ooh. The arcane... I mean, I didn't get the novel. I didn't get the novel for them. Or the journal, whatever. The Arcanum are well-connected and influential in Irish society. I'm going to contact them and ask for their help against the O'Donnells in court, and that will leave me with time to go to Roselair afterwards. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. I mean, it isn't called Hunter the Parenting for nothing. Yeah. Well, great joke, Jerry. If I could give you a gold star, I would. If I had a gold star emoji. Boom. You get it. You return to your phone, oh my god. You return to your room and call the number of Tottenham's offices in Trinity. Inevitably, he refuses to get a mobile phone. When he answers, you explain the situation and what you need from the Arcanum. Totem's reply is crisp and unsympathetic. Wow. I'm afraid you have misunderstood us, Lieutenant Groen. We are a fraternity dedicated to exploring arcane mysteries and pushing the boundaries of knowledge, not a social workers collective. The rural soap... I'm sorry if you hear drilling. My neighbors are there doing construction work. The rural soap opera in which you appear to have involved yourself is of no conceivable interest to the Arcanum. My time is very valuable. Please do not waste it again. Screw you. I'm not helping you. I'm helping the creepy twins now. I don't care. He hangs up. It appears that the Arcanum will be of no help. Perhaps there'll be another way to help Maire later on. For now, you have an appointment in Roslair. The drive along the coast is eerie. Beyond the black cliffs to your left, there is nothing but the grey flat mirror of the Irish Sea. To the right, fog-shrouded bogs and woods, no sound but the mournful screech of seabirds. I like this running joke where I don't listen to Claudia's thing, and I don't put on the radio. Where just I drive in silence all the time. Like I don't like music or like anything of interest. Like I have no hobbies. My hobby is the hunt. The fog is so dense that it is a relief to arrive at the outskirts of Roslair and see the shapes of houses emerge. You find Claudia and Daniel down by the old dock, sitting on the roof of Daniel's Tesla. Boo. They are taking turns with a pair of high-powered binoculars to look at Roslair's cargo port, a bustling place crowded with shipping across the bay. Claudia sees you and slides down off the car, Daniel following. Good you're here, she says. There's a ship out there in the cargo port, Claudia says, pointing. It's called the Magdalena. I got a tip about it this morning. It's bringing something that Noriko needs. I want to know what it is. Where did you get this? How do you know it isn't a trap? It's from a legit source. They knew the most current phrases and the location of our Discord channel. If Rot spies are that up to date, we're doomed anyway. I don't know. A Nosferatu could have a lot of time on their hands. Comforting as ever, Daniel puts in. Claudia and Daniel have been discussing how to get aboard the Magdalena. The problem is getting into the cargo port. These days, European cargo ports are high-security places that members of the public are not permitted to enter. Claudia has the layout of the Magdalena on her table. If you can get aboard, she can give you the directions over an earpiece, while Daniel keeps an eye out with the binoculars. Daniel's been buying all this high-tech gear, Claudia says. I guess rich idiots have their uses. Daniel gives a mock bow. I've still got some lines of credit to draw on, he says. How will you approach it? He's the entrepreneurial. Okay. Try to hack. I'm not a hacker. Steal. Try to bluff my way into the port. I will obtain an inflatable boat and sail it out to sea with Daniel and try to swim back to the cargo port and board the Magdalena. Probably that one because I'm a big stronk boy. Look at my big stronk stats. Yeah, I'll do that one. I'm a stronk boy. There are There are dinghies available for rent in the old harbor. You pay cash for the use of one. Oh god. You pay cash for the use of one for the afternoon, along with a wetsuit. The sea is flat and calm, and you make good progress, rowing with the dinghy's long plastic paddles. In a couple of hours, you are as close as you can get to the cargo port without the risk of being spotted. While you change into the wetsuit, Daniel scans the ships of the port with his binoculars. There she is, he says, pointing. That's the Magdalena. You're sure about this? If you ask me, this plan's insane, even by my standards. He has a point. You are still some distance from the Magdalena, and to avoid detection, you'll have to make most of the swim underwater. All you gotta do is watch my back, Daniel. Watch me go, baby. I'm amazing. I can't do much. I can't think, and I can't be... I'm not... I'm a charismatic black hole, and I'm dumb as rocks, but I'm strong, and that's all we need. My hobby is the hunt for my boyfriend. That's so true. Oh, poor Liam. Liam's just a big dumb himbo, and we need to support him through this. I'll be so disappointed to break the news to him when he can't actually carry Cormac's baby, when he can't actually conceive. I'll be so disappointed for him. Oh, God. All right. You got it. Then you are over the side and into the freezing gray waters of the Irish Sea. The crushing cold takes your breath away. You risk a few strokes on the surface before ducking your head down and beginning to swim underwater. It is a hugely challenging swim, but you are in peak condition. See, that's right. That's all I got going for me. That's it. You plunge through the water like a torpedo, invisible to anyone watching from above, and swim unerringly towards your target. Soon you have reached it. It looms above you in the water like a great rust-red monolith. You find a metal ladder set into the hull and you surface, clinging to the side. I can see you, Daniel confirms over your waterproof earpiece. Hi, Liam. Enjoy your swim? No, but I'm here now. What's the situation? I don't see anyone on deck at the moment, Daniel says. You can climb up. Hand over hand, you haul yourself up the ladder and onto the deck of the Magdalena. Claudia's voice is in your ear. Okay, Liam, there's a few things on the manifest we could check out. There's the... oh, God. All right, no. I'm here for the physical things. Don't ask me to actually look at stuff and understand what it is that I'm looking at. No. That's for Daniel to do. There's stones, there's guns, and then there are books. The notes on the cargo manifest we found calls them codices. Codices? If we can get documented evidence of the Rots smuggling gemstones, if that's what stones means, or guns, that could be very useful, Claudia observes. But I'm curious about those codices too. I don't know how much time we have. It's your call, Liam. Oh, great. I'm gonna investigate codices because I like saying that word. I'm probably saying it wrong. The codices are being held in a small temperature-controlled room at the bow of the Magdalena. A soft yellow light comes on automatically when you walk in. The texts are fragmented for the most part, tattered pieces of papyrus held under glass like fragile, delicate butterflies. Oh yeah, let the big dumb guy touch the delicate papyrus. The smallest are little more than tiny scraps. What you can make out of the writing looks like a mixture of Greek and other completely unfamiliar scripts. You describe what you are looking at to Claudia and Daniel. These manuscripts were picked up at Alexandria in Egypt, says Claudia. I don't know where they come from or what Noriko wants with them, because they're for her. They're due to be unloaded later today. There's a big black market trade in antique manuscripts, Daniel observes. A lot of rich American fundy types are obsessed with collecting pieces of the Bible. True, as old as possible. They pay a lot to have them smuggled out of the Middle East. Also true. Maybe Noriko needs to bribe some wealthy Christians. Ask the people who make the Hummel figurines, not the Hummel figurines, the Hobby Lobby. Claudia sounds doubtful. Maybe, but Rot tends to be obsessed with old stuff anyway. Old furniture, old weapons, old books. Maybe it comes with being stuck in a time while everyone and everything else is in fast forward. They want something to hold on to, something that reminds them of the time they came from. Maybe it's what's in the books? Maybe there are secrets in there, important secrets? Maybe, says Claudia. Time's ticking, Daniel reminds you. I've got movement on deck. Document it all, Liam. Oh yeah, no problem. I don't know what this shit is, but maybe the Hunter forums can figure it out. You might be able to do more than that if you could work out which are the key texts here and take them with you. You could translate and study them at your leisure back at the Wolf's Head. Then you might have some clue as to what Noriko is planning, but taking texts would certainly give away the fact that an intruder has been aboard the Magdalena. What will you do? Well, I'm going to do the stupid thing. I'm going to try and find the key text. Try as you might, you make no really. Make no headway in the bewildering labyrinth of glass and paper. So few of the pages have anything even remotely recognizable on them, you're forced to resort to blind guesses. By the end of half an hour, you admit to yourself that the handful of pages you've collected are worthless. You don't know what they mean, or even if they belong to the same manuscript. To make matters worse, it proves to be impossible to restore them to how you found them. You've cracked several of the glass screens. It's time to move on. Claudia chimes in on your earpiece. Okay, I think you should get off the ship now, but Daniel disagrees. I'm not seeing much activity on deck. I think most of the crew are on shore. We've got time for one more thing. What will you do? Guns. Guns might be better. Let's do guns. You're making your way across the deck when Daniel's hissed warning comes through, a moment or so too late. Hey, what the fuck? It is one of the Magdalena's crew, a huge, very muscular Filipino man. You walked right into him, turning a corner around a multicolored tower of containers. He is glaring at you suspiciously. His pupils tiny pinpricks and sweat beading on his forehead, telltale signs of meth use. Okay, what will you do? Ooh, yeah. I'm gonna hit him. I'm gonna hit him, that's all I could do. You throw everything you've got into a punch the sailor's midriff. The sailor seems to have been expecting attack. Moving with remarkable speed, he catches you by the wrist and pulls you forward before bringing his free hand down in an open-handed chop to your temple. You fall to the deck unconscious. That's the only thing I'm good at. How can I fail at that? That is so unfair. That's so unfair. I should have tried to bluff Even that's a way worse dice pool for me. You wake up with a pounding head. Your mouth feels like it's full of salt and rust. You try to move and find that you cannot. Your wrists and ankles are bound tight enough to cut off the circulation. You are lying on your side above a steel grating. From the way it sways gentle from side to side, you must be still aboard the Magdalena. The sailor who knocked you out must have stowed you somewhere in the cargo hold. Light footsteps sound on the steel. You watch as a pair of sneaker-clad feet traverse the deck and then halt in front of you. A hand reaches out and rolls you over with startling ease. You are looking up into the pale, pinched face of Noriko, the vampire you encountered posing as a junkie in Dublin. She looks at you curiously, her head cocked to one side. You, she says. Her voice is neutral and dispassionate. Or, sorry, you. The Dublin accent she assumed before has vanished. And if you're here, you figured out who and what I am. I'd hope to direct that terrier instinct you hunters all seem to possess elsewhere. But maybe it's better this way, for us to speak face to face, as it were. My goodness, Tia, that is a large rating party you are rating us with. Hello. That is massive. I don't know what to say to that. I'm just reading a story. I know what you're doing. I've uploaded evidence. You can kill me, but you can't kill the entire internet. Imagine somebody could, though. Isn't that a beautiful thought? Shreknet. R.I.P. As for your evidence, it doesn't worry me unduly. We've been flooding your internet with misinformation and wild conspiracy theories for decades. Hello, Tia. Even when the occasional truth floats up through the sea of shit, nobody notices. Thank you for the raid. That is so incredibly kind. I'm just a little guy. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with a raid of 96 people. I read my silly story and do silly things in Hunter the Reckoning. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I just do it. I make purposeful bad decisions and get kidnapped by vampires, because that's funny. Yeah. Noriko sighs. You're going to be useful to me. Not the way I'd pictured, but that's okay. The best dogs have spirit, you know? They have courage and imagination. That's what makes them so useful. But it can also make them unbiddable, and that's no good at all. Sometimes you have to break them to get any use out of them at all. She throws a leg over your chest and straddles you, looking deep into your eyes. Her emaciated body looks feather-light and somehow is a crushing pressure on your chest. And then we kiss. You feel as though you can't breathe. You try to open your mouth to gasp for breath and find that you can't. It is as though you are paralyzed, helpless. Noriko shushes you, running a hand through your hair. Shh. Shall I tell you a secret? She asks. I liked your spirit, your boldness. You set off to hunt the Beast of Glenkildove just like I did all those years ago. I felt like I was in a fairy story coming to Ireland that summer, but my story didn't end well, nor will yours. No kindly woodcutters or fairy godmothers for us, I'm afraid. No good. You cannot look away from her eyes. Large and hollow in her gaunt face, they are like dark stars, like gateways to hopeless black voids. You feel as though you are falling forwards through space, helpless and tiny. Yay! Achievement, I want to be your dog. Become dominated by a vampire. We did it, guys. Successful hunt. We did it. We did it. We can all go home now. Oh, God. The last thing you remember is Noriko leaning forward, her lank black hair brushing your face. This is so not fair because I have so many dots in like strength and brawl and fighting and firearms. There's no way that sailor should have been able to take me out. Maybe it was meth strength. That's not fair. To whisper something in your ear and you know that it is a terrible secret. A secret that would make people kill you just for your knowledge of it. A secret that she is burdening you with forever. And you want to let out a scream of terror but your mouth will not open. And then everything goes black. So uncool. Liam, are you alright? You gradually surface to consciousness. You are sitting in the back seat of Daniel's Tesla. Boo! With both Daniel and Claudia looking back at you in concern. It is nighttime on the docks outside. The last I saw, that sailor grabbed you and hauled you away, says Daniel as he sees that you understand. We weren't sure what to do. We were waiting for nightfall to try to get onto the Magdalena and free you. But when we set off, there you were, on the old deck outside the harbor, wandering around. You look like you'd been polyaxed, whatever that means. What happened on that ship? How did you escape? You opened your mouth to tell them about Noriko and what she did, but all that comes out is a mumble. Got free, ran, don't remember much. Why would Noriko not just murder me? Nah, why would she not just murder me? I feel like I should have been murdered. No, why aren't you telling them? You struggle to correct yourself, but every time you try... Yeah, she is... You feel that breathlessness, that helpless falling. She's submerged directive. Somehow Noriko is controlling you, forcing you to lie to your friends. Daniel is looking at you sympathetically. Maybe you got a blow to the head in that scuffle. Or maybe it's the problem you used to have with your memory. Ooh. Says Claudia. She is looking at you very thoughtfully. You return her gaze with glassy-eyed indifference, although part of you wants to scream the truth. Anyway, I'm just glad you're okay. It's late. I should drive you home. Claudia can drive the Jeep. It is a relief to simply sit and stare out the car window at the darkness on the drive home and consider your situation. It is clear that Noriko has prevented you from telling your friends about what she did. She must have left other instructions as well. Whatever her plan in Wicklow is, you are a part of it now. But perhaps there is some hope. Although your mind still feels full of fog and shadows, you still have your free will. Maybe you can find a way to free yourself of Noriko's control, or at least warn your friends that you have been compromised. Yeah! Let's go! Just kill me. Bullet to the head will solve all my problems. It is while you are walking up to the Wolf's Head that your phone rings, the number unknown. You answer it and are greeted by cultivated American accented voice. Lieutenant Gronin, my name is Arthur Snow. I believe we met briefly. I'm an American at the politically named Magpie's Nest. At the time, we were strangers. I believe it is time for us to be strangers no longer. Please come and see me at the Glen of Lear at the Red Branch Knights Camp. I wish to talk about Cormac O'Donnell. He hangs up, but he has you hooked and he must know it. Just what does he know about Cormac O'Donnell and what is he planning? If all goes well, you should find Cormac tonight, now that you've figured out where he's hiding. But Arthur Snow and his Red Branch Knights might complicate matters. You decide that it's best to see what he wants. Before heading over to the Glen of Lear, I forget what the Magpie's Nest is. No, that they say it. I actually completely forgot. Before heading over to the Glen of Lear, some 10 miles beyond Ballyavon, you look up the Red Branch Knights on your phone. Their website advertises them as a place where men can be men. Gross. A summer retreat where men can go reconnect with each other and their own masculinity. Yeah, I know what that means. I can read between the lines. Where they can learn to ride, box, hunt, and hawk. It's all overseen by the renowned Jungian psychologist Arthur Snow. But it was supposed to have ended in August. Why are there still people? Why are still people there in late October? Men can be men. Yeah, sure. Giggity. I know, right? Gross. Gross. We hate enforcing gender stereotypes. They're disgusting. You arrive at the Glen of Lear, a pretty little valley through which a sluggish, shallow brown river runs. The Red Branch Knights campsite is down a dirty track barred by a gate with a sign reading "Sovereign Territory, stay away." It has been left open for you. You drive down the road beyond into a complex of log buildings. Yellowing deer skulls have been placed above almost every doorway. Over by the river, because we're men and we kill things and we put their heads up on things. Over by the river, a bonfire is blazing next to a pit filled with boiling water. Judging by the steam rising up from it, a man stands by the pit, stirring it with a long hooked pole. Yeah, this is where I want to be. From the moment you get out of your Jeep, you feel the pressure of eyes on you. There are men watching you from the buildings. They all have a haggard, unkempt look about them. They are gaunt and thin, their gaze direct and unblinking. Most are wearing shorts and t-shirts despite the chill. And only one of them who seems clean and in good shape is the crew-cut younger man who lounges on the veranda of the largest house. He is stripped to his waist despite the cold, showing off his leanly muscular physique and a prominent shoulder tattoo. Who dares wins? Ugh. You recognize him. It is the man who was with Snow at the Magpie's Nest when you first met. Snow referred to him as Jamie. The camp stinks with the mingled odors of sweat. I'm completely blanking on the Magpie's Nest. Was that the horse place? I completely forget. The camp stinks with the mingled odors of sweat, urine, unwashed clothes, and boiling meat. This last evidently comes from the pit. Despite the smell, you manage to remain expressionless, and Jamie frowns. He clearly expected you to gag and seems disappointed. He gets to his feet. Liam Groen, he says, his accent working class Northern English, which I can't do. I had a feeling we'd meet again. Really? I forgot you even existed 5 minutes after we met. I have to say that because it's true. Jamie curls his lips. Then I'll have to do something more memorable this time, won't I? He stretches like a cat. Dr. Snow is meditating. He'll see you when he sees you, says Jamie. He spreads his arms. But never mind, you can join our feast. I'll get the warrior's portion, but I'm sure you can have some leftover scraps. He points to the pit. Our fulacht fiad. To you, meat is something wrapped in plastic that you buy at the supermarket. To us, it's an animal, something we've killed ourselves with bow and arrow and rock and hands. Oh, That's where the manic. That's where the manic pixie dream. Enya lives there. My manic pixie dream girl that I wouldn't mind, you know, dating if me and Cormac don't work out. Who I haven't seen in a decade. Looks like these people are horrible. Why would I want to be here? Looks like your men are absolutely thriving on that diet. I say, looking around pointedly at the god figures. Not only am I gay and a himbo, I'm also very cunty. Around here, Jamie says, we shape our hair into waves down here, boy. Around here, Jamie says, you eat what you kill, and if you're not a killer, you go hungry. Some of these men ain't real killers, but hunger will change that. Jamie starts pacing around, each circuit bringing him nearer and nearer to you. We're living like men should do, like they used to do in ancient Celtic times. It's easy for me. You could airdrop me anywhere in the fucking world. Borneo jungle, Gobi desert, Afghan mountains. With nothing but a knife and a hatchet, and I'll survive and thrive. I'm SAS, mate. Sass. Sassy. I know exactly what kind of sound a man makes when you cut his throat from behind. I've killed 5 men, hand to hand, 7 with a rifle. Christ. Dr. Snow, he knows that the world needs real men like me again. Real alpha males. Not the kind of those things who faint at the sight of blood. You're out of your depth here, Groen. You're messing with forces you don't understand. Real alpha. Is that a furry thing? You're beginning to suspect that Jamie's never been anywhere near the SAS. You're special forces yourself, and in your experience, real SAS and SBS veterans don't tend to talk about missions, and they certainly don't brag about their kill count. Jamie is clearly performing for the benefit of those watching, trying to intimidate you as to further cement his authority over them. If you are able to show him up, perhaps his tight grip on the Red Branch Knights will be loosened. Challenge him to a boxing match. Done. Jamie grins. Why not? Let's see how they do it in London. A makeshift ring is scratched out in front of Snow's house and encircled... Now the sailor beat me up. Let's see if I can beat this guy up. Please, game, be nice to me. I already got dominated by a vampire and I can't tell anybody about it. A makeshift ring is scratched out in front of Snow's house and encircled by a ring of staring, silent Red Branch Knights. Jamie advances, feinting lightning-quick punches at the air and letting out whoops. He's fast, but you can tell that his workouts are designed to make his body look as good as possible, not for real staying power. Defeating him will simply be a matter of outlasting him. You block... I have 5 stamina! Come on. You block or absorb his punches, too light to make a serious impact, and wait for him to tire himself out. It does not take long. Then your single massive haymaker, delivered straight from the shoulder, leaves him sprawled on the ground. Thank you! Thank you! 1 in a row. Everybody gets 1. The Red Branch Knights surrounding you go silent, witnessing their idol laid low. I think that will do, says a quiet, authoritative voice. Arthur Snow stands in the doorway. He's dressed as immaculately as before in a 3-piece suit and shining shoes. He ushers you inside into a long and dark room that smells of smoke and spices. A fire crackles at one corner of the room. Snow casts himself down on his haunches before it and motions for you to do likewise. His one eye gleams in the dancing firelight. You'll have to forgive Jamie if he was rude or obstreperous. The boy is an animal, and like all animals, he grows restless before the coming storm. Boys will be boys. Yes, hunt for the reckoning. We are hunters. We're so good at hunting, we got dominated by a vampire. And we're probably gonna get everyone killed, because that's how I play Choice of games. What do you mean, the coming storm? He ignores the question. I'm glad we have this chance to talk. I've wanted to speak properly with you ever since I met you outside that little Banshee's caravan. Don't talk to her about her that way. She's the best. Me and Cormac and her are going to be in a polycule. You watch. I knew who you were, of course. I know all about you, your connection to Cormac O'Donnell and Simon Fox, and I know what you're doing here. You're following the same path that I once did. I know you dream about them, the Bodark, the men who truly are animals, in a way poor Jamie can only dream of. I am not... Why does everyone know about this? I am non-committal and simply nod for him to continue, expressionless. The fire spits and crackles. We use no electricity here, Snow comments. No modern conveniences. That means no electric light. At first, that was frustrating to me. I can only write in daylight, and the hours I have to write dwindle every day as we move towards winter. And what I have to write is so important, it must be finished. But then I came to understand that it was right and proper for things to be this way. What I write now will become Holy Writ. It will be like the Book of Revelation or the Black Books or the black books of Jung for future generations. I must wrestle with it. I must take time, and I must respect the world's natural cycles. Oh my god, who cares? Snow stares into the fire. We're divorced ourselves from cycles and divisions. Day and night, summer and winter, man and woman. Our technology blurs those things together, makes us into pale, hairless, sexless creatures living in gray nothing. I always suspected that something had gone deeply wrong in our modern world, that our spirit had become corrupted, but I didn't understand until Russia. Liam's just standing there, nothing is passing into his mind. Snow tells you that he became addicted to benzodiazepines 3 years ago. He attempted to quit, but could not stand the torment of withdrawal. To try to gain the strength to do so, he went on a shamanic retreat in Siberia. He built himself a sweat lodge out on the steppes, and fasted and took hallucinogenic drugs. On the 6th day of his retreat, he was visited by a wolf that could take the form of a man. This wolf man told Snow that much of what he suspected was true. The world was out of balance. Humanity had separated from nature, forgotten the covenants they had once sworn with the old powers of the world, and to make sure that Snow understood that his visitor was real and not a dream or a vision, the wolfman slashed out his eye at the conclusion of their talk. I bear the scar proudly, Snow says quietly. Like you, I have gazed upon something forbidden. I know where you have gotten the scar on your face. I know you have been touched in the same way, even though you may have grievously misunderstood the revelation you received. But I knew what I had to do. I had to come to Ireland. When I was here with the Red Branch Knights before, I'd heard the stories about the beast, about sacrifice, and the deaths of Simon Fox and Noriko Hirako. Now I understand them. Noriko Hirako isn't dead, although she isn't exactly alive anymore. Snow looks at you. For a fleeting moment, he appears off balance. You can tell that he doesn't understand what you've said, even though he's trying to conceal it. It worries him that you might know more than he does about these things, but the moment passes and soon he seems as confident as he was before. I came here to serve the beast, the Bowdark, the werewolves. They are our last hope. They could bring the world back to the way that it should be, restoring humanity to what it once was, fresh, pure, and free spirits, roaming in a lush and untainted world. I mean... No, they can't. They want to. But you see, they have their own problems of, like, you know, the worm, the weaver, and the wild, and they have factions within werewolves who kind of, like, don't want the thing. They want the world to die so it can be reborn, and that means everyone's dead, so... And I mean, Liam doesn't know that, but I do. Life was never really, like... Also, they, you know, they purged humanity a long time ago, and it didn't help. And they purged their own cousins, like the Pharaoh and stuff, so, you know, it's probably not a great idea. Life was... It's probably not a great idea to let the werewolves decide everything. They don't make good decisions. Life was never really like that, Snow. Not in the Stone Age, not in the Celtic period. We just idolize the past because it's past. I'm talking of a time beyond those times, Lieutenant Groen. A dream time. History is a corruption, an invention of humanity. Oh, God. Snow transfers his gaze from the fire to you. I have a message for you from the beast. Go home. There is nothing for you here but heartbreak, loss, and death. Forget the name Cormac O'Donnell. Forget what you have seen here. Go back to London and live your life. Well, I'm not going to do that. He gets up. It's time for you to go. Thinking on his words, you return to the Jeep and leave the Red Branch Knights compound. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna ignore his warning. I'd never be able to persuade the others to abandon the hunt, and I can't let them go into danger without me. And also, this is really annoying, and I don't like him, and everything about him is weird, and I hate him. but nothing's gonna stop me from finding my boyfriend. I'm on a mission to save my boyfriend. By the time you have arrived back at the Wolf's Head, the sun has sunk down below the mountains, and there is a chill in the air. You cross the lawn, enter the inn, and go up to your room. There comes a knock at your door. Liam, it's Maire. I'm sorry to disturb you, but you're needed. You open the door. Niamh can't sleep. She wants you specifically, to read her a bedtime story. Sure. Let's do it. She's scared of monsters. She says she knows you hunt them, so you're not scared of them. Maire shrugs. You wonder where Niamh got this idea about you. You and the others have done quite a bit of your planning here at the Wolf's Head. Has Niamh overheard some of your hunt strategy sessions? Obviously. And so you find yourself coming into Niamh's bedroom, a little space on the first floor, festooned with unicorn stuffed teddies and piles of children's books everywhere. A pair of fairy wings is hanging up by a chair along with a glittery, sparkly pink cape. Niamh herself is lying in her little bed, the duvet pulled up to her ears. She smiles sleepily as you come in. It's all a sharp contrast from Arthur Snow's lair. Yeah, I certainly hope so. The sight of Niamh fails to cut through the fog which fills your mind. You felt like a walking time bomb ever since Noriko released you, never knowing when her secret instructions might activate. I'm a sleeper agent! You want to scream a warning to Niamh to run away, knowing that if Noriko willed it, you might kill her there and then, but the words fail to come. This is so bad. Niamh has already chosen the story she wants you to read from an illustrated collection of Irish myths and legends retold for children. This is it, The Children of Lear. Oh. You sit down in a chair beside her bed and begin the story while Niamh clutches Blakely, her tiger, and squirms around making herself as comfortable as possible. Once upon a time in Ireland, there was a king of the Tuatha De Danann called Lear, and his queen, don't know how to say that right, Iobe. They had 4 beautiful children, and their names were Aod, Fiachra, Con, and Finola. Finula. I'm Finula, Niamh interrupts. Pretend I'm Finula. Carry on reading. Queen Aobe dies, and so Lear remarries a woman named Eofi. But Eofi is jealous of her husband's love for his children. She takes the 4 out bathing on Loch Deirbriach, the Lake of the Oaks, and there she strikes them with a druid rod, changing them into 4 white and beautiful swans. She curses them to remain in that form for 900 years, 3 centuries on Lake Deirbriach, 3 centuries on the stormy Sea of Moyle between Ireland and Scotland, and 3 centuries on the rocky island of Innisgluther. The narrative goes on to describe the desolate, lonely existence of the Swan children, spending almost 1,000 years in the most remote corners of Ireland, living as animals while the human world that they knew, the civilization of the Tuatha De Danann, crumbles away, and strangers come to settle in Ireland. They have each other until they are separated by a storm on the Sea of Moyle. Fionnuala finds her brothers one by one and shelters them under her wings. Niamh happily cuddles Blakely in her arms, imitating the posture of the girl in the illustration. Finally, in the 9th century of their exile, a holy man, Mocoamhog, comes to Innisgluther and builds a church there. The children of Lear are drawn to it by a sound they have never heard before, the ringing of a church bell. When he realizes what they are, Mocoamhog sprinkles holy water on the swans, and they are transformed into 3 very old men and 1 very old woman. He has time to take their confessions before they die of old age. Niamh has been listening avidly, her eyes wide and dark. Why did they die? She asks. It's not fair. They didn't do anything wrong, and nothing even happened to the bad stepmother. Oh, I mean, great observations, Niamh. What a cute, wholesome book. Yes, it's, you'd think this was a German book. Life isn't fair. It's best you understand that now, kid. That's just how life is. Yep. She listens to you, unblinking, before giving a solemn little nod and gathering Blakely closer to her. A few moments later, your little cousin is asleep. It's time to meet the others. I'm sorry. I don't want like anything to like show that like Liam is like really fond of Niamh, because I don't want Noriko to be like, if there's anyone in your life who you care about and you show any sort of affection towards, you're going to snap and break their neck. I don't know what the submerged directives were. I don't know what they were. Christ. Because she could just be cruel for no reason. She left us alive for a reason. To be a jerk. I hate her. Hunters rule, monsters drool. That's right. I'm drooling right now with my submerged directive. Kitty, Daniel, and Claudia have gathered in the sitting room, which has become your base of operations in Wicklow. You waste no time explaining what you have figured out, where Cormac has been hiding ever since he returned to Ballyavon. He's underneath us in the caves under the Wolf's Head. He's been here the entire time. You explain your reasoning. In the 18th century, one of Mad Jack Dunbar's supposed schemes was to dig gold mines all over the valley, a costly undertaking which never yielded anything of value. You have come to realize that these shafts and underground galleries were never mines at all. That was just a cover. What Dunbar was doing was digging a subterranean network across Ballyavon, all of them connected to his hunting lodge at what is now the Wolf's Head. It was the perfect way for him and his fellow hunters to come and go as they pleased on the hunt, without being observed by the creatures he hunted. Daniel objects. But wasn't that making himself vulnerable at the same time? The werewolves could have used the passages too. You nod. It is a weak point in your theory. All the same, you can't help but suspect that there must have been some way that Dunbar could keep the werewolves out of the caves. Perhaps the passages were simply too well concealed. I don't know. What? I'm shocked he was in the caves. I know, right? What a twist! When he was a teenager, Cormac spent a great deal of time exploring the caves and abandoned mines around Ballyavon. He must have discovered the network of caves beneath the Wolf's Head back then. When he returned to Wicklow, he must have decided to use them as a hiding place. He must have guessed that the werewolves do not know about this place, or perhaps he believes that they are somehow restricted from entering in a way that he is not. You also imagine that he wants to be close to his daughter Niamh in the wolf's head above. Based on what you've seen so far, you guess that Cormac only risks going out at night to hunt for food, deer in the mountains, sheep in the valley, sleep in the valley. He must remain sleeping in the caves under the wolf's head during the day. It's the perfect time to confront him. But the caves are very extensive, and you could easily become very lost down there. There are 4 of Dunbar's mines with a 2-mile radius of the wolf's head. You must assume that Cormac uses one of these to come and go for his nightly forays. You suggest that the 4 of you split up and stake them out tonight. You will be able to keep in touch with the earpieces and headsets that Daniel bought. If any of you see Cormac entering the mine you are watching, you'll alert the others, and you'll each enter through your own respective entrance. With all ways out cut off, it won't be hard to find Cormac's lair inside. And then? Daniel asks. And then we decide what happens next, Claudia says firmly. Oh, good. Go in with no plan. I love it. You look from one to the other of your friends. I love that Kitty's, not with us anymore. If all goes according to plan, this might be the last time you do this together. Cormac is what brought you together. After tonight, your hunt will be over. Why is Kitty not here? She wasn't here for the boat thing. What happened to her? Oh, God. Stay cool, guys. Everyone stay frosty. We know Cormac's down there. We don't know what else. I'm going to tell everyone I love them. No. No. The others nods. I only love Cormac, and I want his baby. You split up the... Okay, Kitty says Kitty's is here. Well, sorry, Kitty wasn't mentioned, so I'm like, where's Kitty? You split up the different entrances between you. Yours is the nearest, out in the woods beyond the Wolf's Head. Daniel's and Kitty's are on the opposite sides of Ballyavon. Claudia's is on the furthest out, a tunnel entrance up in the hills below the Magpie's Nest. That makes you think of Enya. Perhaps you should ask for her help as well. Claudia squints at you. Enya? Is that supposed to be funny? No, I like her. No, I like her. Why would that be funny? She's the best. Claudia continues to stare at you, and Daniel shakes his head. They look worried. It is left to Kitty to speak. Enya was a joke, I suppose, when we were teenagers. Our imaginary friend Enya who lived in the hills. Going to see Enya, Daniel puts in. That's what we used to call going to up to smoke a joint in the woods. You're acting like she's a real person. We don't need this weirdness right now. What? 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 What a twist! They're serious, you realize. Something has happened to them. They've forgotten Enya Madigan. You feel a sense of fear and panic very different from the terror that the werewolves inspire. How can this be? You went to visit Enya with Kitty last Saturday. How could she not remember? But your own memories are starting to become fuzzy. Suddenly you're not so sure of yourself. Looking back, all of your encounters with Enya feel so strange, so dreamlike. Yeah, well, she also got a fairy inside of her, right? You're like a true fae. Your mind was fractured by what you saw at Glenkildove. Has everything you remember of Enya just been a hallucination? You remember that Enya was also always terrified of the idea of being forgotten, or did you simply dream that too? No, I know she's real, and I know that just a week ago Kitty and I were speaking with her. Something unnatural is going on. Stop, everyone stop. It's clear that your insistence on Enya's existence is making the others uncomfortable. It's time to focus on the matter at hand. Oh, up yours. One by one, the others gather up their gear and head out. Claudia has a new acquisition, a tranquilizer rifle like the one Sister Judith was carrying last week. Okay, why can't she be a figment of our imagination? Got it while we were in Dublin, she tells Daniel when he raises an eyebrow. Could he come in useful tonight? Could he come in useful tonight. And then it is just you. You go upstairs and you're getting your equipment ready when a howl of sirens suddenly rips through the still night air. You hurry over to the window and look on as 3 police cars, blue lights glowing, pull into the parking lot. Guards in high-visibility jackets emerge from the cars. One of them hails the wolf's head with a bullhorn. Liam Groen, you are under a west. You are under arrest. Come out of this house with your hands up. I have a lisp. I'm sorry. You've drawn too much attention to yourself and made too many enemies during your time in Ireland. How? How did I do that? I did not do that. No, I think you're wrong about that. What did I do? I was such a good boy. They have undoubtedly encircled the end. What do you do? I'd love to know. I almost want to get myself arrested so I can know exactly what my charge is. There must be some secret entrance in the wolf's head itself. What was I was too dumb? Is that a crime? There must be some secret entrance to the wolf heads which connects to the caves below, and we're trying to find it. Yeah, let's go. Just leave. Oh, good. You rack your brains trying to think of a likely place for Mad Jack Dunbar to put a secret entrance. You can dismiss much of the wolf's head immediately. Its wings and its upper levels are all later additions that did not exist in Mad Jack Dunbar's day. It also seems unlikely that the secret entrance could be anywhere that receives frequent maintenance. It would have been discovered. That only leaves one place, the wine cellars beneath the inn. You hurry down there. You search through the cellars, the light of your torch sweeping back and forth across rows of bottles and barrels, but you cannot find anything. All the while, you can hear the police crashing through the inn above, the shouts and cries of the Wolf's Head patrons. It is only a matter of time before they reach the cellars. You desperately begin hammering on and clawing at the walls, trying to wrench open a secret entrance by sheer force of will. That is how the guards find you. Liam Groen, one of the... So embarrassing. Liam Groen, one of them says, a high-vis jacket glowing in the light of your torch. You are under arrest. For what? Under arrest? What did I do? I am a goodest boy. I'm a big, strong boy, and I do nice things. I fought the law. Get arrested. But for what? What did I do? I'm a good boy. An hour later, you are sitting in the back of a speeding police car, your hands cuffed behind your back. The guard who isn't driving twists around in his seat to address you as through the metal. You have to tell me what I'm being arrested for before you arrest me. We're taking you to Ballyavon Garda Station, he says. Yeah, just what am I being charged with? I'm sure they'll tell me. When do I get my phone call? Before the guard can reply, the police car suddenly swerves off the main road into a narrow country lane. The guard who was speaking to you looks at the driver in confusion. I'm guessing I'm being arrested for nothing. I'm guessing I'm being arrested because somebody doesn't want me around. What are you doing, Mick? This isn't the route we agreed on. Shortcut, says Mick tersely. Shortcut? Ooh, what is this? Oh no, we have some broken code. Shortcut? Mick, what are you? The guard trails off as Mick stops the car, cuts the lights, then takes something you can't see from the glove compartment. Mick! There is a noise like a muffled cough, and suddenly the other guard's head slumps back against the grill. Mick turns around, and now you can see the object in his hand, a handgun with a silencer attachment. Mick gets out and opens the rear passenger door. You shiver involuntarily in the cold night breeze. Mick's eyes are empty of any emotion. Get out, he tells you. After you comply, he undoes your cuffs. You and I have the same mistress, he whispers. She needs you free. My God. Wait, maybe it's not so bad. Maybe I'm a kept man. There are worse things to be. It is clear that this guard is another pawn of Noriko's. Just how wide-ranging is her influence? While you're considering the implications, Mick gestures to the back of the car. You'll find your things there. I'll tell them you escaped and shot Dave. Get going. You've got your job to do. I'll frame you for murder. Don't worry about it. You're cool, buddy. You take your gear from the back of the car. Mick has stopped the car not far from the cave entrance you were supposed to watch tonight. Your earpiece and headset was among your things. You turn them on and send out a hail. Liam, where have you been? Daniel's voice is distorted by static. Doesn't matter, he adds moments later. You need to get down here. Things have gotten fucking crazy. Cormac's down here, but... Jesus! He's drowned out by a wave of static, and then the signal fades altogether. Something is happening in the darkness below your feet, and you must once again venture down there. Picking your way through the woods, you find the entrance to the caves at the rear of a hollow among the trees. There's so much happening. The time has come. Cormac waits in the caves below, along with whatever closure finding him can provide for you. The time for the reckoning has come. They said it! Switching your flashlight on, you stride down into the hollow, pushing aside the weeds and stepping into the black opening in the earth beyond them. The darkness swallows you up. Oh no, we're gonna have to wait till next week to find out what happens. But I bet next week's the last episode. I bet it's the last one. I bet. There's so much stuff that we could still be doing though. My God. I have 16 experience points. I don't know what I want to raise my shit up to. Probably my athletics, my melee, my survival. Let's do survival. I feel like I'll need that. Yeah. All right. That's it. That's all she wrote. Boom. Chapter 8. Otherworld. Yep, should be the last one. That's crazy. That's crazy. There's so many plot points. Like, just running through this thing. That's crazy. I don't approve. Make it longer. Make it longer. Let's get some DLCs out here. All right, everyone. Next week, the thrilling conclusion of Hunter the Reckoning Beast of Glenkildove. I am so disappointed that I'm going to have to wait so long. I want to finish it. But I know however long this chapter is probably the longest chapter, and there's no way my voice will hold out all the way to the end. Nobody wants that. So yeah, I'll see everybody next week. Super excited. Have an awesome weekend. Thank you so much for being here, and you guys are great. Adios.